Welcome back to TMZ Live. CBS News correspondent Lara Logan, when she was overseas, spent a lot of time covering the troops. You know, she was embedded with the armed forces, covering the war in the Middle East, and she is now continuing to do some really important work with the military. She's actually was the keynote speaker at an event, a fundraiser for a special event for the Special Operations Forces Support Foundation. But she didn't just, she could have just showed up and done a speech and left. No, she got very, very involved in this weekend. This is how involved. Take a look at this. It's one thing to jump out of an airplane, which we said last week we would never do, but she actually jumped out of a helicopter. It seems like from a much lower altitude, but I don't know, Wolf. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
I
survive.
don't know. Yeah, I know. Regardless of the parachute, I'm not sure I would survive. But joining us right now to talk about the event and everything that she has experienced there is Lara Logan. Lara, welcome to TMZ Live.
Hey, guys.
You certainly don't look the worse for wear, but I tell you, I couldn't have survived that, Lara.
Yes, you could have. Those guys, that jump master that I jumped with, he's a former Navy SEAL. He'd done over 18,000 jumps. And so, you know what I realized? It was kind of like being on the battlefield. You just have to get the beep, beep out of the way and do what you're told,
Right.
And so they gave me instructions. He said, arch your back, bend your legs. Oh, and the funniest part was he said, make sure you want your, when you arch your back, you want your sort of, this part of your body being the lowest point of your body. I was like, that's easy for you to say, you don't have any boobs.
Yeah, good point. I guess he was not taking that into consideration. But Lara, tell us how you got involved in this. I'm guessing, you stayed in touch with a lot of the people you worked with overseas. Is that the case?
I just want to say this part you're looking at right here, this is free fall, right? This was my favorite part of all.
Oh my God.
Because that's not actually the parachute yet. I mean, look at that. That's when you're flying.
Lara,
I do?
I'm sorry, Lara. How high are you? Because it seems like the ground is coming up really
feet.
quickly there. Wow.
10,000 feet.
Oh,
that's where we jumped from.
God. So
I thought when they let that parachute out, it was like wearing a giant diaper.
hey, let me tell you something. If I did that, I'd need a giant diaper.
Several.
No, I bet you could do it. No. Okay, so this is the thing. What led, I think, to this event is something that you can't fake. And it's based on the fact that I never lied to people, whether it was, Iraqis or politicians or soldiers or anyone else. I never lied to them when I disagreed. If they asked my opinion, I gave it honestly. And that's earned me a reputation as a straight shooter. And when you watch my work over the years, no matter who I was working for, nobody ever knew what my politics were because my politics didn't matter. They weren't part of the work. They weren't part of the motivation. And they were never important. So I just did my best. And you know what? With good people, that endures over time. And that's what people remember. And that's what led me to being asked to do this event. And it was important to me. It meant a lot.
Lara, as I listen to you talking about this, I've followed your career for many, many years. And this just reinforces it all. You seem like one of the most fearless people because I've watched your reports and everything you're saying I've seen on television where you're right in the middle of everything. Do you get scared of anything?
A really smart former SF guy who volunteers in Syria and Iraq today, he said to me just before the jump, I happened to see him, he was in this country for a brief moment, and he said, what I tell my volunteers and when we're going into combat is that when you're afraid, if you focus on the fear, you're maybe not focusing on making the smart decisions or what you need to do to stay alive, right? And in this case, he said, maybe you're not focusing on all the things that are great about this opportunity. And that's what I kept in my head. And I call it flipping the switch, right? When you're in Afghanistan in the middle of a battle or you're in the invasion of Iraq, on the ground with the Iraqi people and the U.S. military might is dropping everything it's got on the ground below. If you spend time being afraid, that's time taken away from making real decisions about how to do your job well and also how to stay alive.
Well, it is remarkable that you were part of this event. It is a very important one. Again, it was to benefit the Special Operations Forces Support Foundation. And Lara, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much,
It's
Lara.
an important event. By the way, we saw you parachuting. How was the golf? I know there was a golf tournament. Was that easier or worse?
The golf tournament, landing on the golf course. Come on, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's how they
you know,
started
I have
it.
to say,
That's very cool.
What's remarkable to me is that you two guys, you're thousands of miles away from the battlefield, and you followed my work, and you care, and you're interested in this organization and what they're doing, and I think that's pretty cool. And I just want to say thank you.
Oh, well, that's nice of you.
Thank you, Lara.
Well, really, your career has been remarkable. Lara, thank you so much for the time.